I want to talk about something that I posted on Facebook today, along with this graphic that I've posted a couple of times that I found from somebody. And I want to talk about this because it's very important when it comes to our development as human beings in general. And that is this idea of not assuming that we know everything. It's one of those things that you hear spiritual people talk about that I've posted from my spiritual community, which is that to have knowledge is to know we are everything. To have wisdom is to know we know nothing. We are nothing. And that's not to say that you're supposed to be second guessing yourself all the time, but what it is to recognize that we as human beings have memories that aren't always right all the time. We can make assumptions about things. We can have things that are clouded by our perspective. So what I mean when I talk about us making sure that we don't assume we know everything all the time, and to make sure that you're doing the research to ask questions, is it's not about not trusting. It's about when someone presents you with a piece of information, especially if you're going to allow yourself to be affected by it in any way, to make sure that whatever information that you've been given, that you make sure that you have all the information, even if that means getting a second opinion, going out and getting the information for yourself. That's perfectly okay. Not only is it perfectly okay, it's what you should always be doing all the time. Whether it's a piece of information on social media or it's a life-altering recommendation or diagnosis from a doctor. This spans all things in life. Period. End of story. If you are going to allow something to affect you, you need to make sure that you have all the information. If you're going to post about it, if you're going to talk about it, especially if you're going to do something about it. And especially if you're going to let it emotionally affect you, especially in a way in which is negative. You want to make sure you have all the information. We live in an age where 30-second clips of a 30-minute video can present the opposite idea of what's going on, that the whole video presents a completely different side of things. When, the whole video presents a completely different side of things. We have people who will paraphrase things into small little sentences to get them out on Twitter. We have fact checkers that say things where they're these tiny little sentences that in and of themselves may or may not be wrong, but that doesn't mean the information that they've fact checked is wrong either. It just means that what the fact checker says and what the post or video says are contradicting each other, not that either one is actually technically wrong. So we just have to be so careful, because so many people these days especially are letting themselves get super emotionally affected by things that they know little about. They are coming out and making big, grandiose statements about things that they really know nothing about. And we are letting ourselves get emotionally moved by things, and I mean lots of things, not just the obvious things, but even things that aren't obvious. We are allowing ourselves to affect our whole way of life. giving up friends, not speaking our truths, not speaking up, and not speaking for what we believe in, for fear that our friends believe one thing when we believe another. And we all want to be loved. It all comes back to wanting to be loved, to wanting to feel love. But we cannot allow ourselves to be emotionally moved by a 30-second clip or 120 character quick post, because I guarantee you that 99% of the time it's not going to be all the information, and it might even be information that is the opposite of what the whole story would offer you. It's the opposite feeling that the whole story would offer you. So I want everybody to be encouraged, especially with the way things are right now, to question everything. Question everything. Do I have all the information? And this comes down to, do I know how this started even? Is one that I ask all the time of myself. I will see a 30-second video and I'll be like, yeah, but I don't know how this started. I can't make a judgment on this. I can't allow myself to feel emotionally moved by this because I don't know how it started. I don't know all the information. I don't know who these people are. I don't know all of what's going on here. And so I then reserve the right. I keep myself reserved to not allowing myself to get upset or to pass judgment on whatever it is. And the biggest thing I have been doing lately that I encourage everybody to do is do the research. Look it up. If someone says something, fact check it yourself. That's what we need to be doing most of all. Fact check it yourself. Who says it? Are they a reliable source? Do they have somebody else backing them, giving them money, for instance, to say that it's one way when it could be another? Who are these people saying these things, and why are they saying these things? Do they have a motive? I know it sounds to some people like conspiracy theory stuff, but really it's so important to ask these questions. Why is this person doing this? Even just from a baser emotional level of why is somebody doing this? Because everything is either a loving response or a cry for help at the end of the day. And so if it's not a loving response, it's a cry for help, whatever that may look like. And often these things get mixed up in emotions that we don't all understand. So we need more than ever to be analyzing what we're being told by everybody, really. Because we are such complex creatures as human beings that it is to our benefit to ask ourselves before we get invested or involved, what is all the information? Where is this coming from? All right, guys, thank you for joining me for another video. May the energy you serve you well, and let's keep making our way through.